How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to TableTakes. It's the best 4 days of gaming all year round. And the real best 4 days of gaming are happening in 6 days. Can you believe it? Oh my gosh, Gen Con is just around the corner. We have been busy at work collecting all the news and trying to find the best booths and all of the exclusives for yous. Uh, but first, we're going to have to do a little update from all of our hosts today. We have a lot of information. We have a lot of stuff that we all do to get into the Gen Con mood. So let's just talk about what y'all have been doing to get ready for Gen Con, what you're excited about. We'll start with you, Bonsai.
Okay. First thing I did for realsy for sure is that I got a bag big enough this time to hold everything that I'm gonna get
Oh my god.
at Gen Con. I could probably fit in this bag, so it's the regulation size and stuff. Unfortunately, they didn't have one in orange. But that's one of the first things I did. Also, totally use Instagram. X. That's what it's called. X and
Oh,
Threads.
right. Yes.
Yes,
Exactly.
yes. And Threads to go ahead and see. A lot of the creators have been posting. I have a list of people I'm already gonna aim for. First booth I'm gonna hit is number 666, My Little Demons booth for that Genevieve plushie. That is gonna be the not the regular red one, but a teal alternative. Booth number hashtag 2001. 2001 Ravensburg for the Lower Karna cards, please give me. And then also I'm going to visit booth 1109 Fantasy Flight Games because I want my Star Wars dice. Give me my Star Wars dice. I want Star Wars dice. Please give me.
That sounds awesome. That's so much stuff. Wow. I'm very excited to see how much you can pack in that bag. Make sure you do that trick where you stuff one bag inside of another and pass that one through, and then you'll have two bags to fill stuff up with to take home with you. I wish I'd learned that my first time through. Peter, what do you do to get ready for Gen Con?
Food, Javion. Food. Planning the food. Indianapolis restaurants sell out in the month during the week of Gen Con, so you got to get in there, find my best favorite tables and my favorite restaurants, and find festive people to bribe people to go with me. Please come eat dinner with me. I don't want to eat by myself. So that's thing one. Others, planning my D&D games. I'll try and run a D&D game every week and every day of Gen Con, and there's I've been making maps. I've been printing maps. I figured out this year what I call a suitcase size map, which is like the dimensions of the biggest map that will lay flat in my suitcase. It's like 17 by 24 inches. So I went and took a whole bunch of my maps and printed them to that size or smaller, so that because who likes to uncurl maps,
Nobody.
And yeah, right. So yeah, really important stuff.
Wow. Yeah, it sounds like you're going to be real busy as usual. What booths are you looking forward to seeing?
Well, I definitely want to go by the Roller Crypt booth and see what the exciting merch is. I got to hook up my wife with merch because she comes a little later in the show and things are sold out. So I like to get her some stuff. I want to go AEG. I'm a big fan of AEG products. I want to go there. I want to look at Chet Games, see what they're up to. Our friends at Zoe, because Zoe helps us produce Actoroki, so I got to go by there and say hi to those guys. And I think that Diana Jones Award Committee is going to have a booth this year, so definitely got to go by and for a photo op or something.
Of course, we made so many promises during our interviews that we would say hi to everybody there, so we have to go.
There you go.
Noir, what about you? How do you prepare for Gen Con?
All right, I'm glad you asked. I've been studying this. All right, first thing I do, right? I download the Gen Con program book onto my tablet because I don't want to have to go and fight for them, because after a while they become like a commodity. Like, people start fighting each other to the death for them. So I just want it right in my tablet. Speaking of my tablet, I make sure that I have a ton of external batteries.
Oh my gosh.
None of my stuff dies on me. That's a big clue. Do that. And then I just kind of mark things on the Gen Con program guide that I'm super excited for, which is mainly things that are exclusive to this year in Gen Con. There's such cool merch. Like I'm incredibly excited. Um, there's so many exclusive Gen Con dice. They're right there. There's a bunch of different ones. Let's see. There's the BCW supplies Gen Con dice bags. I think there's a Dwarven Forge one this year as well. There's a Crystal
Ooh.
Cast. So I am gonna go ham on some dice. And if that means I've also been doing some pull-ups and lifting some weights so I can push people out of the way. No, I'm kidding. That's just a joke. That's just a joke.
Okay, well, it sounds like you as well are going to be packed with lots and lots of stuff to do at Gen Con. So I'm very excited to see all of that stuff as well. I took a lot of tips from y'all and from our producer Marcus about how to prepare for Gen Con. Keeping an eye out, like you said, Noir, for the program list. Just using the Gen Con website in general to look at all of the different game systems that are going to be available for event registration. Looking out on social media, like Bonsai said, making sure I keep following the companies that I really like, so I'm up to date on any exclusives that they have and things like that. And of course, listening to the TableTakes VODs 24 hours after, so you never miss an episode, and you also can hear all about all of the Gen Con stuff that's going on. Speaking of which, let's jump into our headlines and talk a little bit about what's going down at Gen Con. So there's a lot of stuff that's happening, including more table takes. That's right. Once again, we are coming back to Gen Con for 2023. We're going to be live for the first ever episode of Table Takes Plays. That's right. It's like Table Takes Game Night, but it's got a new name and it's got a fresh new face, and we've got cool new stuff to show off for you folks. And we're going to have our very first episode hosted by none other than Bonsai Baby, who's going to be running a game of Runaway Hirelings for us. As well, just as well, you can meet us in ICC 101 to 103 at the Indianapolis Convention Center on Thursday, August 3rd, if you want to come watch us play it, or even see any of the morning or night shows that we are going to be filming live in front of the swaths of Gen Con attendees who are going to be watching with bated breath after they get home to their hotel rooms after a long day of conventioning. We'll still be on camera. Speaking of which, we have some celebrities who are also on the ticket for Gen Con who are going to be doing some meet and greets. Maybe you've heard of a drag queen by the name of Monique Hart. Well, she will be at the booth for It's Kind of a Fun Story. It's Kind of a Fun Story is a storytelling card game, and Monique will be in full drag. So if there are any fans out there who want to go check her out, it'll be on August 5th at Gen Con. Speaking of which, we also have Sungwon Cho, Pro ZD by another name, is going to be at the Kinfire Chronicles booth. Incredible Dream is the booth that is going to be having Sungwon Cho show up and do a little meet and greet at their booth at 11 a.m. on Saturday, August 5th as well. So Saturday is a great day for meeting celebrities if you want to check out some of your favorite folks who are going to be also playing board games alongside a bunch of other folks. Just as well, tickets for Actoroki Slam are on sale. So if you wanted to see some more Actoroki, some live D&D reenactments, you are going to be able to grab your tickets from the link that we're going to put in chat. You've seen them on Twitch. Now's your chance to see them live. You can just check out our very own Actoroki folks playing in a very... Peter, actually, I'm sure you can tell us more about how it's going to go, right?
Oh, I was like sitting there debating, do I interrupt him? Because I just want to add a little thing to that. Yeah, there's going to be 2 Actoroki events. The one on Thursday is an RPG, like you would expect. Okay, it's a role-playing game. And then the one on Saturday is going to be a stage performance by actors of the story created on Thursday. So that's Actoroki.
Yeah, and it's condensed all into just one weekend. So it's going to be crazy. You definitely want to check that out.
Sarah Moore leading it out.
Thank you, Sarah Moore, once again, our one of our favorite GMs. I'm sorry, I almost said our favorite, but we have a lot of GMs that we love, and Sarah Moore is just one of the top.
She's definitely tied for favorite.
Okay, yes, definitely tied for favorite. I like that. And as always, eBay is a huge booth people are typically excited to see because there's always crazy stuff that they're able to pull off for Gen Con, and this year is as no exception. There will be exclusive drops, epic giveaways, and a lucky few will have a chance to play against the Hall of Famer Reed Duke on either Saturday or Sunday at the eBay booth in partnership with TCG Player. So if you want some fresh packs of Magic the Gathering, Lord of the Rings, Tales of Middle Earth, you can follow them on Instagram at TCG Player or at eBay Collectibles or on Instagram as well for a chance to snag one of those spots. It's a cool giveaway. So that's just some of the many things that are happening at Gen Con, but don't forget to check out the link or just go to gencon.com. Check out the program early. Make sure you get all of your tickets if there are any left at this point. And fill up your schedule because I'm sure all of us know it is going to be packed in there this year. All right. Well, folks, let's just jump into some board game news. We have a lot of information, a lot of new stuff that's happening. So, Peter, why don't you lead us off with the first one? Uh-oh. Peter, can you hear me, Peter? Uh-oh. Can anybody hear me?
No, we can hear you.
Yeah,
Okay. Okay. Sorry, just a little bit of technical difficulties. We're actually going to go with Noir. You're going to head us off with our first.
Hey, all right, let's get on into it. So, Paizo has announced a new partnership with Tabletop Town. Paizo has entered a multi-year licensing agreement with Tabletop Town to bring Pathfinder and Starfinder into the asynchronous. I can't get this word. Mobile gaming space. Tabletop Town is a casual text-based interface currently in an open beta with the full launch coming later this summer. Tabletop Town will streamline the more technical aspects of gameplay while preserving the detail and depth of the rich lore for both Pathfinder and Starfinder. This will allow new players to get started more easily while allowing veteran players to focus on the details that they love. If you want to try it, or learn more about the profile, visit Tabletop Town's website, and you can download the beta, and you can also join their Discord to learn more about the features that are released. Pathfinder and Starfinder will be available for purchase from the in-app marketplace at launch. So go ahead and give that a look if you are a huge fan of Paizo like me.
Man, these are really cool. I love it when we find new little software programs and stuff like that to add to our collection of accessories for like role-playing games and stuff like that. We saw the 3D dice that lets you just roll dice. This one looks like even more robust.
I mean, honestly, it's going to get to the point where you just need your character sheet and a phone, and you're going to be all set for almost every game, which is outstanding.
I fully embrace going to digital, even though I do have an inkling for hard copies. But it just in terms of accessibility, especially just to like send out like, hey, I got the group file, I can send it out to y'all and we can all separately read a book versus like, I remember when I first started like playing role-playing games, everyone was fighting over the one book if they didn't have a copy of themselves to like, I gotta create my character, okay, hold on, give me a second, just like give me a second, and then you can borrow the book. It's optimization, especially like if you're a spellcaster. It's just nice to have, like, just type in the spell you're using and bam, you got the information right there.
I'm excited to see more about what they can do with this in partnership with Pathfinder. I know that that's a huge complaint about how complicated Pathfinder is compared to D&D. Yeah. Well, they could definitely use a tool like this, and I'm excited to see what they do this summer.
They will never replace the click-clacks, though.
Dice will never die! All right, Peter, why don't you lead us into our next headline here?
All right. In ICV2's Talk Back segment, where people write in comments to the website, Jay Bardilla of Rolling Tales Pop Culture in Edmonton, Canada, wrote in about allocations for the upcoming Disney Lorcana TCG release from Ravensburger. Jay writes, the hype for the new Disney Lorcana TCG has left me puzzled. News about the new game was pumped out significantly in February 2023. As a retailer, I had to place my orders with distributors before the end of March 2023. I was then notified that I would not be getting the majority of the product I requested or the quantities I requested in mid-July. The product is scheduled to come out in September. This isn't new. I've placed orders for product 6 months prior to release date, but then had to deal with the publisher who is unable to meet the demand. My understanding, as told to me by 2 different customer service representatives, is that Ravensburger is a significant player in the collectible card game market, and yet they can't meet 50% of demand for their product. As I begin contacting customers to let them know they won't be getting any of the items they requested, my question to Ravensburger is, why? So I chose to report on this because I have some experience in product allocations from my days at WotC in the early 1990s. We were regularly criticized for this very thing. Broadly speaking, there are several possible reasons why a product might get allocated. I want to hasten to say I'm not a representative of Ravensburger. I don't know what's really going on with them specifically. I'm just a guy with a deadly combination of experience and opinions. In the case of Magic the Gathering in 1994, allocations were necessary because the lead time for printing cards was several months longer than the order time. So no matter how optimistic we were, the demand would end up being several times what we forecasted because of the fast growth of the product. And it's certainly feasible that that's happened with Lorcana, that there is a lot of hype around this game. And I could see that at Ravensburger, they're probably continuing upping their expectations, but they've probably already made their print orders. It's going to be released next week at Indianapolis. So they only have so much product, and the demand has probably grown past what they foresaw that it would be. Another reason a product might be allocated is due to manufacturing capability. Sometimes there's a limit as to how much a printer can print. Also, a product might be limited due to capital, working capital. How much money does the company have available to print product? Even if it's not how much the whole company could possibly rally together, it might be a limitation based on budget constraints or annual targets. Another reason for allocations is if the publisher believes there's a phenomena happening called phantom buying. Sometimes this happens, especially in a really hot product that everybody thinks is going to be super, super, super hot, like perhaps Lorcana. Phantom buying is where a distributor thinks, I'm going to sell this much, but I'm going to order this much because I know they're going to allocate me. And then retailers are all going, well, I need this much, but I think they're going to allocate me, so I'm going to order this much. And then I'm going to order this much again from another distributor and from another distributor just to be safe. And then a sophisticated gamer, and there are those people out there, some probably, they will do the same thing. They will go down to the retail shop, order how much they want, and then go to another retail store and order how much they want there. So this sort of thing can happen, and if a publisher feels like this is happening in the market, that's another good reason to allocate. There's a less sympathetic reason for allocations is when a publisher wants there to be a perception that a product is rare and hot, and so they're not going to ship you as much as you want. That always felt kind of slimy to me. We never did that, I promise. Really? So we got accused of it a lot, but we never did it at WotC. Perhaps the least sympathetic reason for allocations is when the entity you're ordering from, a distributor, a retailer, publisher, whoever, finds some other customer who will buy it for more and therefore sells you less. So I can't answer your question, Jay, specifically, but there's a whole bunch of options for you.
Well, thank you, Peter. I'm sure they're listening, and I'm sure they're very happy to have that education. I guess it just goes to show whenever there's like a big IP like this, there's bound to be a lot of things involved, and there's always going to be unhappy customers. But I am very hopeful for Lorcana. I'm definitely excited to see them at Gen Con later this week, next week, excuse me. And I think that there are just a few too many people who are excited for Lorcana. I think we've just hit that limit where it's just like, okay, too many. Now everybody's like going overboard with all the cards.
That's so cool. Like that. But that's so cool. You know how long it's been since we've had something like that? I mean, no matter what happens from now, it will have been exciting. Like, it's just great that so many people are excited about a game that's coming out.
Yeah. I fear you forget the Disney adult that is the mecca of Disney adult. That, their pins and stuff, just anything that is mystery that you can pull, that is Disney, that is a collectible that you can get, especially if it's something you can play and get your hands on. it's a mega win, and also it's going to be saying you're probably not just drawing regular regular tabletop folks in. These are probably, because it is this significant IP, we're getting people that have never played tabletop card games, collectible card games before, trying to get these.
I think if anybody out there is a little bit impatient for some more Lorcana stuff, check out the companion app that's just been released by Disney. You can check out all of the cards that are going to be released for Lorcana, how they work and everything like that. Even use a tutorial if you'd like. So definitely check that out. That's going to lead us into our next headline here. I'm very excited about this one. I've been waiting to hear what Dropout did next for a little while after the last Dungeons and Drag Queens campaign concluded. Dropout has announced that their next live action series is going to be Mentopolis. Mentopolis is a role-playing series that's live action, and it's going to be using the Kids on Bikes system, which is a departure from the typical D&D system that they usually have. Brennan Lee Mulligan will, as always, be hosting it in a very strange new adventure in a completely separate world from any other that you might have seen on the show. It literally, in the show, you will be literally taken into the mind, and you'll see several characters representing different functions of the body, and a new, get this, noir-inspired story. We're talking about the time period, not any actors or performers you may have heard of that share that
shucks.
name. It looks like the series will kick off on August 16th and is hosting a plethora of big ticket names, such as Siobhan Thompson will be returning, Mike Trapp as well, Danielle Radford, Alex Songzia, and Freddie Wong and Hank Green for the first time on the channel. So it's going to be really exciting to see all of the shenanigans that they get into. Just from the trailer that I saw, a brilliant trailer, by the way. I'm super excited for it. Just from what I saw, there's going to be a lot of like marbles being like sent down tracks and stuff like that, with like loop-de-loops, and like it'll randomize like who gets certain things. I don't know how it's going to work yet. I just know there's like contraptions, and it's going to be like conspiracy stuff, and that is something that Brendan Lee Mulligan does really, really well. So super, super excited to see how all their characters are played out, how the Kids on Bike system works, because I've never heard of that. Actually, I've heard of it. I've never seen it played before. And to see how the system concludes, because there's like this big like reveal in the trailer where everything cuts to black and you have no idea what's going on, and people are like shouting and like Whoa! So now I'm excited, and I definitely want to see that. So definitely going to be keeping an eye out on August 16th when that one releases. Okay, next up, Peter, we have some more Paizo information. Is that right?
That's right, Javion. This article is brought to us, by the way, from Jeffrey Dome Sanchez, also ICV2. Paizo has revealed Pathfinder Elemental Stones, a new board game for release for retail in November this year. In this game, players take on the roles of elemental sovereigns who are trying to shape reality. Ooh, that sounds fun. They will take turns to drafting and playing hexagonal tiles in order to match specific patterns and meet their secret objectives. The game features several dozen pattern cards and variable objectives, so the replayability of this game is naturally high. This game is also quick to play and has lightweight rules. Pathfinder Elemental Stones is for 2 to 4 players, and it plays in 30 minutes. It will retail for $39.99, and that's about all we know about it, Javion.
Well, I mean, I'm already excited to learn more. I mean, with a name like Elemental Stones, you expect to have like like shiny math rocks or something, like dice in it. We have to wait till November.
I know. I was excited about the shape reality idea. That sounds good.
Yeah, I know. I love like seeing like elemental stuff, and Pathfinder has no shortage of that kind of thing. You typically have like the 4 elements, like earth, water, wind, fire, all that stuff. But I'm seeing 5 total. So maybe there's something I'm missing here. I'm just speculating. Okay. I have no idea.
Rock and roll. Don't forget that.
Oh, right. Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, I guess we'll have to wait. But $40 seems like a pretty high price point for the box that looks pretty small. Maybe it's the perspective or something like that that's tricking me here. Who knows? A 30-minute game for $40. It better have a lot of really cool stuff in it. I guess we'll have to wait.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bonsai, why don't you lead us into our next headline?
All right, folks. Well, I don't know if you remember, but last week we were talking about Peterson Games and how there was an anonymous donor that basically donated or not donated, but like basically paid for all of their like shipping costs so everyone in the United States could get their Cthulhu game. Well, welcome. We got a boom boom whiplash going on. Thank you from Tony oh gosh, I didn't realize that I have to Manstrangeli at Board Game Quest. I'm so sorry if I pronounced that name wrong. I'm very bad sometimes at this. But so Peterson Games sues a German company, CCS, for fraud under RICO violations. So if folks don't understand what RICO is Racketeering Influence Corruption Organizations, basically what they used in America to bring down the mafia. That is what the court case is bringing. Just Peterson Games is alleging that CCS overbilled them over $495,000, which is almost $500,000 in hold, and is also holding another $340,000 in inventory hostage. They also have accused of them of extorting them to expand their business and relationships in order to release inventories in the past. This is just, I don't know. It just sounds kind of like mind-blowing to me that this is going to be a court case, because never do you think, mafia, what do they racketeer and stuff, and what can they like muscle their way in? Board games. That's what we want to do. Muscle our way into board games.
I'll say it again. It's Breaking Bad with board games right now, and it's awesome. Instead of like the Walter White get up, it's like the Monopoly Man outfit.
Rich Uncle Pennybags.
It'd be a shame if folks didn't get their game, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I just see this like this scenario being handed out. Like, look at these games. It's unfortunate that they just got lost in shipping. Wouldn't it be? How about you sign this contract for protection? You know, this is still an ongoing court case. This is all just our imagination. Keep in mind, this is an ongoing court case,
and we have a big imagination. I mean,
we have a very big imagination.
That's why we got hired for this job.
But yeah, I don't know. I mean, Peter, have you ever heard of something like this happening in this kind of realm?
I mean, I would want to see the contract. It comes down to the contract. Sometimes one party complains that the other party is being really evil and horrible, but they signed the contract, and you read the contract, and it's like, well, why did you sign this then? You know, remember the contract that TSR had with their printer. I mean, this reminds me of that. Like, it could, I don't know. It could be, you just don't know. It's all about the contract.
Yeah. I just this just sounds like an awesome game idea for if they want to turn into a game. This is a great way to be like the mafia and board games. But that's pretty much until we get as proceedings go on, we'll see how everything unfolds. This is just how the news is right now as they're just proceeding with everything.
Yeah.
I think it'd be so cool to have a really good game about running a business, right? You know, and it'd be all about time management, because well, are you going to take the time to read the contract, or are you going to go on a sales call to Walmart? You know,
these are brilliant ideas. You got to write these down, Peter.
Until we get ours, ain't nobody passing go or collected $200.
You know,
that sounds more fun. Actually, that sounds like a more fun idea for a game. I strike mine from the records.
You know, with all this talk about new card games, I feel like Noir, maybe you should tell us about another new card game that Critical Role has been teasing for a little while now, and is finally being announced.
I would love to. Critical Role Campaign 3 is being adapted into a co-op card game by Flamecraft Designers. So, The third campaign for Critical Role is going to get its own adaptation from the designers behind Flamecraft, Manny Vega. Caper cards are going to be available in this. Caper Cards Bell's Hells is an upcoming board game that sees players attempting to assemble the Bell's Hell team from Campaign 3 of Critical Role, a popular Dungeons & Dragons actual play series, similarly to the classic card game 21. In Caper Cards Bell's Hells, the entire team is needed to pull off a daring heist, with players laying down crew cards in order to beat a certain level of treasure without going over the number 21. Rather than competing to get a high enough number without passing 21, the players will be working together in a co-op board game to combine their cards together. Every round will see the players aiming to surpass a certain number, with players saving and playing their cards at the right moment. Each card in the pack also has its own special abilities that players can take advantage of, such as the Grifter, granting a -1 to the total for every spade card that's in play, or the Fixer, adding a +1 to every heart card in play. So it's really fancy blackjack.
Blackjack,
From the sounds of it. Listen,
Blackjack.
Have you ever played blackjack and thought, man, I really want to give Matt Mercer money? Well, now you can.
Nice. I am myself a big blackjack fan. I know how to count cards. I taught myself over the quarantine. And I am a big casino aficionado. I'm sure, Peter, you are too. I think we've talked about this once. When I go to casinos, when I play blackjack, I like to be alone. I like to play with solo. So I love that this is a solo card game as well as a multiplayer card game. And I love seeing Critical Role's new games, because so far I don't think they've had like a bad one. Every single one of them has been pretty great.
Yeah. I love the thought of going to a Vegas casino and see people play a Critical Role card game. I'm not gonna say it'll never happen, because Critical Role is making things happen that I never thought I'd see a campaign be fully animated. So if they end up in Vegas, you know what? God bless them.
Yeah, no doubt.
They're gonna have their own Las Vegas strip hotel. But no, I mean, I think for me, with a lot of these card game companies, I'm pretty big about the quality of the cards and whether or not they're going to be like, I like the artwork so far on these cards. I have seen it, love the artwork. I just want to feel what the cards are actually like. That's a big thing for me. It's like, if the card stock is like, if it's too slippery, but it needs to have that grip, the grip. You know what I'm talking about?
Absolutely.
Oh, Bonsai, you're right. The quality of the card. We may have differences of opinion on what that quality is, but I agree. I want cards that are easy to shuffle. You know, just like casino cards. You know, that quality, like easy to shuffle, ripple shuffle, deal them out and stuff. It's got to be good cards.
I can't shuffle.
You can't shuffle? Wait, what?
Neither can I.
I can't. That's why I bought a shuffle machine, so I got to worry about it.
You bought a shuffle machine?
Yeah.
Well, I'll teach you how to shuffle. We're going to be at Gen Con next week. I mean,
true.
You guys are going to be busy. You guys are going to be too busy to any that nonsense.
Yes, boss man.
Ain't no time to shuffle. There is no time to shuffle. That's why I bought a machine. Plus, I don't
shuffle your butt over to the exhibit hall.
Oh my god. Noir, to your point that you were making earlier about, like, you know, casinos having like a random game at their table that you wouldn't expect. They do have different kinds of blackjack. Blackjack is a game that has been adapted into many other like forms for a very long time. I've only seen it competitively, however. So this is the first time I've seen a co-op game that uses the blackjack mechanics. Although personally, if I go to a casino and I'm trying to play blackjack, I just want to play regular blackjack, not the Spanish stuff, not this like open bet or like whatever they call it, like bonus bet or anything like that. I hate all of that.
Right.
Just give it to me straight up.
Straight up. I
agree. Speaking of which, we do have a little bit extra time, and this is just something I've been meaning to ask you for a while, Noir. I told you months ago that I was going to check in on you about this. Yes. Have you had a chance to play the critically acclaimed Critical Role board game, Last Gasp?
Yes, I have, and I can tell you that it is an amazing game. And it makes me mad. Like, so Last Gas is basically a dueling game. There are different locations, stances, and everything that your character can take to try and win the duel. The goal of the game isn't to win the duel, but to tell a great story. I'm all about winning, so I ignore that part of the instructions.
Wow.
But it's very cinematic, it's very storytelling focused, and it gets if you're salty like me, it upsets you greatly if you lose.
Well, I've heard of similar games too that where like the narrative is how you win, right? Like, I don't know if you've ever heard of Fog of Love, another 2-player focused game, where that sounds like inspired by it, in that like you don't win if the date goes well and everybody has a happily ever after. You win if the story, like, makes sense, and
Absolutely.
I think that's true for like all RPGs, I would say. So I love hearing that. I'm glad it's a good game because I've been dying to play it and try it for a long time. So now I have another thing to add to my list when
I'll bring it to Gen Con.
Yes, excellent. Okay, so don't listen to Peter. We'll have plenty of time to play games and teach each other new skills.
You heard that? Get him.
Okay, well, let's roll into our last headline here. Bonsai. We got some Pokemon news that you're very happy to tell us about, aren't you?
Yes, we gotta catch them all at McDonald's. Thank you, Christian Hoffer, at comicbook.com for this. So I don't know if you remember last year, everyone went crazy for Happy Meals because you could get Pokemon cards, exclusive ones, and basically y'all ruined it too because you bought too many, and so they had to make you guys slow down, and so they're adding a limit. So basically McDonald's has announced it's bringing back Pokemon cards for their Happy Meals in basically the August time frame. Not a hard date, it's just like they're like somewhere in August we're gonna bring them back. Right now, there's about 15 cards from the Scarlet and Violet base set that are announced for the Happy Meals, with 6 of those cards being available as holo foils, that basically the shiny cards. Each Happy Meal will come with 4 normal cards, 1 foil, and a match the battle toy. Basically it's a little counter toy that they're bringing, so like, get more kids into like figuring out how like you use all the little extra ingredients. But yes, they have announced that they are going to be limiting how many Happy Meals people can buy, because y'all ruin it. You can't just keep buying like crazy. I mean, good for the business of trading card games, but actually bad for the business. Also, do not steal Happy Meals from children. Big exclaimer, please.
No, don't.
You don't tell me what to do.
No. Boundaries.
That reminds me of that episode of Childish Gambino, Donald Glover's show Atlanta, where he tries to get a Happy Meal, but they're like, oh no, it's a discounted meal for an adult? No, absolutely not. You had to pay full price like everybody else. That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried that somebody's going to see me trying to buy a Happy Meal and be like, listen, we got a policy here. It's just not right. We're going to age restrict. We're going to be checking IDs when you go to McDonald's now. It's all thanks to Pokemon. Great.
Javion, why did you shave your mustache? Well,
sometimes you just got to have unbrazen audacity. Like, I'm going in there and I'm ordering 5 Happy Meals because I'm happy. What are they going to tell me? No.
I mean, I wouldn't. If I saw you coming up to the counter, if I was working at McDonald's, my job's already hard enough. I'm giving the Pokemon cards away.
Give me them cards.
You're the type of person I think who would like get a job at McDonald's literally just to get more access. I've seen people.
Sorry, we're out.
I got all of them. No, I would honestly, I think I am going to do this just because it's fun content. I'm going to just go to the same McDonald's, but I've got enough costume pieces now where it's just like Noir, street clothes, Noir the Paladin, Noir the Wizard. Like, I'm coming in dressed different, and I dare somebody to tell me that I can't have my Happy Meal.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at
put the effort.
I'm looking at the list of Pokemon cards here, and maybe somebody more knowledgeable can tell me, but are these like rare? Are these like exclusive? Am I gonna have to like fight people for these? I'm not sure what the like value of these cards are.
Honestly, I don't know. I don't play Pokemon.
they're in a Happy Meal at McDonald's. They're not going to be the good ones.
Okay, well, fair enough.
I mean, I guess maybe if they have different, commonalities or whatever, but
But there's like little like Happy Meal like toys and extra accessories and stuff that comes with it too.
You
So I'm
know
sure
what they
people are really happy.
do need to bring back in terms of Pokemon Club. This is just
The
me.
gold-plated ones.
Oh, you heard it was Burger King though. That was Burger King, and they
Oh.
gave the golden. I want those back. And also with that dangerous Pokemon capture call, they had one that they recalled because the clapping mechanic was actually really really dangerous for kids. Yeah, that was Burger.
I remember the gold-plated ones used to come in a Pokeball. And I remember whipping that Pokeball at my cousin full force in the back of the head. I was not allowed to have those any longer after that.
I am excited for all the little kids. They're gonna get a little Pikachu box and be like, "Oh my gosh, what's in here?" And then find little like Pokemon cards inside it. That's really cool. I'm excited for that. Okay, well, that's gonna do it for all of our headlines today, folks. That means we're gonna roll right on past our bundles and straight into dun dun crowdfunder court. And it appears that today I have all the time I need to present to you the many, many Kickstarters that I have been barred, banned, bamboozled out of holding back, but no longer. I have so many Kickstarters that I'm really excited about, and I'm just going to start with this first one, but before I can do that, I need permission from the crowdfunding judge. Peter, would you please lead us into this segment?
Javion, there's nobody else in the court today. It's just you. So you may approach and just keep going. I'm going to take a short break. I'll be right back.
Okay.
You've gone so mad with power, you've made him sick.
You have the floor.
Oh my gosh. Okay, well, take care, Peter. Okay, so our first Kickstarter today is called The Crystals of Zaleth. It's a 5e survival solo adventure. In this strange module, you are not required to have a DM in order to play Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. How does that work, you may ask? Well, it draws on a lot of tropes that you might have seen in something like a Choose Your Own Adventure book, where you get to take your own path down an interactive adventure where your decisions have hard consequences. Perhaps you may fight a monster, cast a spell, or find some treasure in this grand story that you'll be telling, and it will affect the NPCs that you find in the future, or encounters that you stumble across in the grand woods. Trying to find these crystals of Zaleth will be no easy task. You'll need to make progress with the loot and experience that you keep track of, just like in a regular tabletop game, but without the need to have a DM at the table. If I may, I'm going to just go up to my soapbox for just a second here. This is going to usher in a new wave of D&D content. No longer will we have the standard, the default layout, the template that we've been using for so long, with one DM sitting above the table higher than all others, deigning to show them the game that they've created. No. From now on, all players will have the power to build games themselves. You will
Peter
build
comes
characters together.
Peter comes rushing back into the court. What
DMs
are you talking about?
Outlawed now. Only player-focused content and story games will be allowed from here on out. Speaking of which, this game can be played solo as well. You can run through an adventure where you get to try out a new character concept, design, or even get some inspiration for a game that you may be playing in the future. Check out the Kickstarter with the link in chat. There are 13 days left to back it, just as I have, and you can back at many different levels. Don't get left behind. The Crystals of Zaleth need you.
He's gone mad with power.
Next on the list.
Do not back this Kickstarter.
This game is called Yama. In this game of cubes, you try to make 4 in a row. Sounds familiar, right? Haha! No! This game is unlike any you've ever played before. It's a unique puzzle game in which you are stacking cubes in a way you've never done before. We love abstract strategy games, and Connect 4 is one of the oldest pastimes. Now, you're trying to make a line of 4 in a row, but the board of Yama actually rotates and contains triangular slots that stand the cube up on its corner rather than its side. We are turning everything on its side today. Nothing will ever be the same. Dice will no longer be rolled onto their edges, but in fact, their corners, you see. You will have to decide for yourself what the top side of the die is. If you check out the link in chat, you can see a animatic of how to play Yama. There are many different levels that you can back as well, where you can get deluxe pieces and extra boxes, or even get a copy of the other games that the design studio, Kanat Sadamwatana, excuse me if I did say that correctly, a chemical engineer of all things, has designed this brilliant game, and for others as well. So definitely check that out. You've got plenty of time, 11 days before your time is up. And finally, for the last Kickstarter, we have 50 guests of the inn, which I did not for Marcus yet, so I apologize for that. 50 Guests of the Inn is a systemless fantasy RPG card accessory bundle where you get, just like any DM knows, you'll need NPCs, guests at an inn, where you can just flip open a card and, we always love getting extra NPCs and at a really cheap price as well. It's a PDF that you get for only $3, where you get 50 cards and a tuck box in PDF. If you've never used a tuck box before, you print it out, you cut it up, you fold it up, you glue it, and now you've got a box to hold your cards in, made out of paper that you did yourself. The included non-player characters may serve as companions, enemies, or contacts for the adventurers. Each is limited solely by your imagination, as well as the actions of the player characters during their interaction with each of the NPCs. The cards are numbered just in case you ever want to write down notes, and it also makes it easy to find the card in question. Now, if you back at the lowest level, you'll just get the PDF. But if you back at higher levels, not only do you get print-on-demand codes with Drive-Thru RPG, but you also get the codes to the digital edition of Hex Deck. What's Hex Deck, you ask? Well, I'm glad you asked. It's a deck of cards, of course. It's perfect for game masters and players who enjoy sandbox-style games or hex crawls. It's systemless fantasy RPG hex crawl cards. They're cards that have little hexes on them with different things like encounters or cities or whatever you want it to be. There's like a bunch of different random stuff. There's short descriptions of one location on the back of each card, and expanded information, as well as second locations and random encounter tables. It's the best thing for your table. You just pull out this little card, you put it down, and now you have all the information you need to randomly generate something for your table. It's brilliant. Definitely check it out. There's only 3 days left on this Kickstarter. It's already met its goal of $250. But again, it's a very cheap, low, price to entry Kickstarter. So definitely something for anybody to enjoy. Woo! Okay, I think that's everything. I think I've gotten all the Kickstarters. Oh, that was a lot. All right, well, we still got plenty of time left, and we saved this segment specifically so we could talk about more Gen Con stuff, because we've got just 6 days before the convention starts, and there's so much stuff that we're excited for. So I'm just going to open it up for y'all. Tell me, what are you excited to see this year?
Magic sword.
Magic sword. Is that an actual magic sword, or is this just like a company that I should know about?
Well, okay, so you might have like an initial bad reaction to this, JVI, because I saw that you posted a little on Discord, like a little sadness about Nerdy not coming back this year. Yeah. Well, Magic Sword is another performance group that is doing the music for, I think, opening ceremonies, and I also think that they have a concert. So anyway, it's pretty cool. Pretty cool group.
Well, awesome. Do they do nerdy themed video game and board game related hip hop and R&B content created by a unique designer from the POC community?
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I'm sure they're still great too.
I just want to say I'm a fan of Magic Sword, and not recently. I remember a while ago, they had their van stolen with a bunch of their gear.
Oh no.
And they actually used to perform with like a sword, or like it was a whole thing.
Yeah.
And they put together a crowdfunder just going, hey, this is the stuff that we lost. And their fans came through for them. So they've got a really solid community behind them. And they play some really cool nerdy tunes. So I'm excited to actually be able to meet them, because I am also one of the people who backed them when they lost their stuff, because that's rough.
Wow.
Mhm.
Well, I'm glad that they're headlining for Gen Con this year. I hope that they recoup some of their losses and they have a great time, because I know that everybody's going to be really excited to see them.
Yeah, I think I'm most excited for Card Holla when we start to stack all the cards and then throw the money mercilessly to destroy all of the hard work that is going to be done over basically the duration of the con, and then starting just at night, we mercilessly. I'm actually going to bring cash to throw money at them. I normally don't have cash, but just specifically for Card Holla, I am going to be bringing cash for that.
I just love seeing the people who walk by and they're like laughing at how many extra Magic the Gathering cards are created all the time. And that they can literally just make mountains of card towers at Card Holla. It's always funny to see people just like get shocked by that sight.
I also love seeing it never gets old. The costuming, it just never gets old. You know, it just every year somebody's got some cool new costumes, and it's just fun to walk around and see people dressing up. You know, I don't really have the dress up bug. Once in a while I do it, you know, and it's like, and I really enjoy it. But you know, it does require a lot of sort of planning ahead and a lot of luggage, and so that'll be fun.
Bit of news. I don't know if you knew this actually. In the block party for Gen Con is typically in the same spot every year, but this year they've actually moved it to South Street. So people are going to be perhaps a little bit, taken aback. So if you're out there, if you're expecting to see the food trucks and everything as usual, they're actually going to be on South Street. And you can actually look on Gen Con's website if you want to see all of the new food trucks that are coming out as too.
And it's sort of a good news, bad news sort of thing, because the bad news is that it's not going to be on Georgia Street where we're used to seeing it, and that was a really great spot, and it's too bad that but the good news is that the reason Georgia Street isn't available is Indianapolis is tearing it all up and building another hotel there, and you know how desperate people can get for rooms. It'll be awesome to have another hotel with a whole bunch of more hotel rooms to take a little bit of pressure off that.
Yeah, Nora, what were you saying earlier?
I was just saying that there's a couple of events that I'm super excited for. I'm excited to see. I don't know if y'all have heard this. TableTakes Plays is happening.
Yeah.
I'm kind of stoked for that. But yeah, I'm also very excited about the costuming. I think I'm gonna show up at least one day in full armor.
Well, and I get to play with you guys on TableTakes Plays.
Yeah.
I haven't been playing because I'm just really having trouble playing on Zoom. It just creates anxiety for me. I hate to admit it, but yeah. But I'm really excited that we get to play together in person.
Heck
right?
yeah.
Bonsai's DM, is that right?
Yes, yeah. I am the DM, and we're gonna be playing oh god, hold on. Oh god, now I'm spacing on my brain because I'm panicking. Runaway Hirelings! And it's gonna be kind of the rules. It's an older game. Runaway Hirelings is an older game, so I am doing a lot of house rules. But I will still, if you newbie, I'll have printed material for folks. Get the physical character sheet. I'm sorry, I'm panicking because I am. It's going to be very improv. And I'm
Perfect.
debating. Yes. So
Yeah, you're with friends. We love you. So we're playing. I thought it was halflings. I thought it was runaway halflings.
no,
No.
hirelings. Halflings would be too cool. You're just the NPCs.
Runaway hirelings. Yeah. So like cosplay, like bring a backpack and like a lantern.
Yeah.
Yeah, as soon as
Get your
you come
apron,
in,
your
I'm gonna
butt
whack
apron.
you in the face with a handful of dirt and then put you in sacks and be like, "You are only carrying my stuff," and that's about it.
Yeah, folks, the
Perfect.
tickets are on sale. They're still on sale right now. So if you want to check out the
Can
exhibit,
we rise up? Can we rise up against our evil overlord and half hirelings?
No, I'm gonna bring a little hammer, and you cannot rise up again. Every time you rise up, I pop the hammer.
We're gonna overthrow you, Bonsai. You just gotta look at that.
We're gonna unionize.
Oh yes! Oh my gosh! Okay.
Yes!
Then we unionize and then we automatically win.
There is just one last thing that I want to call attention to, because since I've been going to Gen Con, I've done it every year, and I think everybody should, if you're able to, which is the blood drive. First City Blood Center of Indiana always stops by to Gen Con. A little bit of the blood can go a long way to helping people. So if you're not too squeamish and you want to get a cool sticker, this is a place to go to do that.
Yeah, also big shout out to the Christian board gamers who are going to be having their Sunday service on Sunday of that weekend. Make sure you tune in for that. Make sure you find out which booth that's going to be at, and make sure you pray real hard for all of the board gamers who are going to be missing their Lorcana stuff this year, because there's a lot of people who unfortunately won't be able to make it into the tournaments or in the demo games, and we just want to make sure we pray for them. Anything else we're excited about? I feel like we're getting close to the end here.
True Dungeon's gonna be back.
Oh my god!
Yes!
True Dungeon.
Dungeon.
I've been trying to get some more LARP stuff done. I did True Dungeon once, but that was like the closest I ever came to actually doing something.
I've never worked harder than when I volunteered for True Dungeon, but it was still worth it. Just
That's
to
awesome.
see, just to like be puppeting like a demon. It's great. There is a BIPOC industry networking event I'm very excited for. So if you're in the industry and you want to get some connections, this is a place to do it.
Yeah.
I will
Speaking of
definitely be
industry-
there. They always do giveaways and stuff, so I'm super excited.
Speaking of industry, if you are in the gaming industry, go to the Diana Jones Awards ceremony party. Yeah, Wednesday night. So come in early if you can. If it's not too late, come in early. Come in on Wednesday. It's going to be at the Slippery Noodle.
Prepare to
Yeah.
schmooze.
Or else. Folks, that's going to do it for our show today. We love having you here. Thank you so much for tuning in to all our viewers, and God King Marcus for being our lovely producer in the background, making sure this all happened smoothly today. But don't go anywhere, folks, because we have another exciting episode of Monster of the Week for TableTakes Game Night. In fact, the final TableTakes Game Night that you'll ever see. Because after Gen Con is over and concluded, Gen Con will be done, but Gen Con TV will still be here with a brand new TableTakes Plays. With exciting new content for you all. We have a lot of cool stuff that we want to show you, and we've been working towards this for a really long time. So I hope you get a chance to tune in for that. But also, for this week's episode of Monster of the Week, we'll be playing yet another episode of Showdown at the Palace of Pain, where our lovely hunters will be trying to thwart the evil plans of the megalomaniacal billionaire philanthropist, Seth Vale. Let's see if they can battle their way up through the palace once again. At 5 p.m., join us for some more Sarah's Table as well, where Sarah Moore and friends will be playing Sleepaway Part 3. And for those who don't know our streaming schedule, on Mondays at 9 a.m. Pacific time, we have Peter versus the Machine. We'll be continuing to play, teach, and learn Civilization 5 as China. That'll be exciting. At 4 p.m. that same day, we have Board Games with the Brothers Murph. And at 6 p.m., Dress to Quest. On Thursday, nothing! We don't have anything else going on. You're going to have to tune in for more Gen Con streaming because we're going to have TableTakes playing over the whole weekend. We're going to have lots of IRL streams and demos and lots of other stuff that you can check out with, not just on Gen Con TV, but on Gen Con Online. There will be plenty of programming for you to watch that weekend as well. Thank you once again to all of our lovely hosts. You are all super lovely today. We had a lot of fun. And don't forget, if you missed any of our programming, you can check out the video on demand here on Twitch or on YouTube 24 hours later. That's all for the best 4 days in gaming all year long for now. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.